Hello everyone. So today we are going to understand the reproductive health. Now what reproduction health is? So reproduction health is a total well-being of one's emotional, behavioral, social or physical state. And this definition is given by WHO, that is World Health Organization. According to WHO, it is the well-being of total well-being of emotional, behavioral, social, and physical state of a person. A society with people having physically and functionally normal reproductive organ and normal emotional and behavioral interactions amongst them in all sex related aspects might be called reproductively healthy society. So this description is given for the society where the people they are physically normal, their reproductive organs are normal, these people are in proper emotional and behavioral interactional state. That means uh, whether it is a male or a female, whatever is the whatever are the sex related aspects, but they will have a proper emotional and behavioral interaction with each other. So this type of society is the reproductively healthy society. Now what action has India taken for the reproductive health of Indian people, that we have to see. So India was amongst the first few countries in the world to initiate action plans and programs at the national level to improve reproductive health. All these improved programs cover wider areas related to reproduction. These programs are currently in operation under the Reproductive and Child Health Care, that is RCH programs. So whatever programs are there, whatever action plans are there, or whatever work is being done in the area of reproductive health, that is called as RCH, that comes under the RCH programs. Now, what are the goals of RCH program? So the goals are to create awareness amongst people about various aspects related to reproduction. जितने भी taboos है या whatever misconceptions are there, उनके बारे में जानकारी देना and awareness create करना, to provide the facilities to people to understand and build up reproductive health. If any facility is available, so this program is giving that information to the people to provide support for building up reproductively healthy society. We have already seen the definition of healthy society. So those all four criterias follow करके the society will be developed. So that is given by the RCH program to bring about a change mainly in three critical health indicators, that is reducing total infertility rate, infant mortality rate, and maternal mortality rate. Mortality is the death. So this program mainly it deals with the infant mortality rate. That means they try to lessen the mortality rate of the infant newborn babies के डेथ का जो रेशो है दैट एंड प्लस मदर्स का, तो वो जो रेशो है डेथ का वो कम करने की कोशिश is done by RCH program. And infertility rate also, like few people are there who cannot give birth to, or they have certain problems, so that is also reduced by this RCH program. Now what are the goals of RCH that can be achieved? Whatever goals we have seen of RCH program, how to achieve those goals that we have to see. So what various agencies or if person can do for meeting a goal of a RCH. So introduction of sexual education in the schools. This is very important to educate the adults about the sex, so sex education in schools is introduced. Awareness through audio, visual, and print media. So print media also can play a vital role, play a proper role, important role in spreading awareness about all these goals. Awareness about problems arising due to the uncontrolled population. Now this is very important because Indian population is increasing tremendously. So whatever are the problems that arises due to the uncontrolled population, that means we will have a problem of food, even the space, and many other things are there which can occur because of uncontrolled population. Even the pollution is increasing. The waste products, they are also it is also increasing because of this increasing population. So that awareness is very important. Awareness about statutory ban on amniocentesis, this we will see later on, but this is the term related to the um, nowadays, or people, they try when they want to know about the sex of a baby, then they go for this type of uh, test, but this is not legal nowadays to check a baby's sex. So that ban should be there because of now when the people they come to know that the infant is a female, then they try to kill that infant. So to in order to stop female feticide, awareness about this ban is very important. Awareness about child immunizing programs, programs which are related to the care of a child should be spread in order to meet the goal of RCH, educating couples to reduce mortality rate of newborns and maternal mortality rate. I have told you earlier also, mortality rate of newborn, infant and mother, both death rate should be reduced. So for that, education is must. So that is also can be done for meeting the goal of RCH. Now what is birth control? We have said that Indian population is increasing tremendously. So because of that increasing population, number of problems are also arising. So for that, birth control is very important. The birth control measures which deliberately prevent fertilization are referred to as contraceptives. And for birth control, what should be done? Fertilization should be prevented after the sexual intercourse. So, in order to prevent the fertilization, the things that are available are called as contraceptives. The contraceptive method help to prevent unwanted pregnancies. An ideal contraceptive should be easily available. It should be user friendly, effective, and with no or least side effects. So for preventing fertilization or for preventing unwanted pregnancy, the methods, the tools, the technique which is available, that is called as contraceptive, should be easily available. It should be user friendly, that means person can easily use that, should be effective, and there should not be any side effect. Then a person can use it in order to prevent the fertilization, or you can say unwanted pregnancy. Contraceptive methods are of two main types. One is temporary and the other is permanent. What are the temporary techniques and permanent techniques that we will see in next slide. So first let us see the temporary methods. Temporary methods are near about 7 types. One by one we'll go through it. Okay, the first temporary method is the natural method, or you can say safe period, or you can say rhythm method. What they do in this, that we have studied menstrual cycle of a female, in that 12th day, 10 to 14 day, you can say, after menstruation, 10 to 14 day, these 4 days are, they have high chance of fertilization. That means ovulation takes place in between these days. So if ovulation is taking place, then in that case, if a sperm is entering into the female reproductive part, then there can be a chance of meeting the sperm and the egg. So in order to prevent this fertilization, a female can calculate, or female can avoid the sexual intercourse between these days, so that it will be avoided. But this is not 100 this is not this will not give 100% result for avoiding fertilization. Principle of avoiding chance of fertilization is there in this. And the day 14 is the safe period, like a female can avoid the sexual intercourse on this day, so that fertilization will be prevented. Now the second temporary method is the coitus interrupts or withdrawal. It means the male partner withdraws his penis from the vagina just before ejaculation, so as to avoid insemination. It means whenever a couple is having intercourse, so at that time before ejaculation itself, a male partner will have to withdraw his penis, so that there won't be uh, there won't be any entry of the sperms inside the female partner. But this is also this will also not give 100% result for avoiding uh, fertilization, as the pre-ejaculatory fluid also can enter before a proper ejaculation only. So there are chances of fertilization in this method also. But if a person does not want to use any other contraceptive, then this method is also applicable. Third method is the lactational amenorrhea, that is absence of menstruation following parturition. This means that after parturition, that is after birth of a baby, female, like when she is feeding a baby, so during that lactation period, she does not have menstruation, right? There won't be any menstruation during the lactational period whenever she is feeding the baby. uh, that period is not too longer, but few months, it goes till few months. So at this period, there won't be any chance of fertilization. This is also one method. Fourth method is the chemical means or spermicide. Spermicide, something which kill the sperm, that is called as spermicide. So for that, many chemical methods are available, many chemical tools are available that will kill the sperms, like uh, foam, tablet, jellies, creams. They are sometimes used by the female partner. These are used by female partner. Spermicides are used by female partner. This will also give you a chance of avoiding fertilization. Fifth, we will see later on. The sixth one is the physiological or oral devices. It means which you can eat or which you can have orally, used in the form of tablets and hence popularly called as pills. These are the pills, these are the tablets which you can take orally in order to avoid the fertilization, because these oral devices or these tablets or these pills, they have a high amount of progesterone or progesterone. These hormones are actually given by the these tablets, so that it will create certain hindrance in the menstrual cycle, and because of that, ovum, it will not be produced, or it will not work. So the tablets or pills can be used. So if sperm is entering into the female body, then also it will be of no use, because there is no production of ovum, right? But menstruation will be there, because the uterine lining is getting thickened, and that is only coming out in the form of blood. So that will be there, but there won't be any production of ovum till the female is taking these tablets or pills. Then other contraceptive methods are there, like the birth control implant is the contraceptive used by the female. Like copper T is available, which can be inserted, implanted into the female reproductive part. That is called as, this is also one of the contraceptive method, which is known as birth control uh, contraceptive. Then the mechanical means or the barrier means. Mechanical means or barrier means barrier which will prevent something to enter in, right? There will be a barrier, there will be something which will prevent the sperms to enter into the female body. With the help of barriers, the ovum and the sperms are prevented from physical meeting. And the barriers that can be used are, one is the condom. Male partner can use the condom. Then diaphragms are available, cervical caps are available, walls are available. Then intrauterine devices, that is IUDs, are also available. This will be used in the female body. So these barriers are available which will not allow the meeting of ovum and sperm in order to avoid the fertilization. So these are the temporary methods that can be used. These are the tools or the methods used for the contraception. Like we have the methods are, condoms are available, female, even the female condom is available. Then oral contraceptions, that is pills, can be used. Hormonal ring can be used, UID. Then contraceptive injections are also available. Surgical sterilization, this we will see later on. A barrier can be implanted in the female body. Coitus interruption, uh, the menstrual clock, you will have to calculate the days of ovulation. Vaginal Dutch are also available, contraceptive patch is also available. Then, and this is the diaphragm or the uh, contraceptive cap. So these are the certain contraceptive methods that can be used. Now permanent method. The permanent birth control method in men is called as vasectomy, and in women it is called as tubectomy. So these are the two methods by which permanently birth control can be done. That means when a family is completed of a person, then they can think of the permanent method of birth control. That is, if a male is doing that, then it will be vasectomy. If a female is doing that, that will be tubectomy. These are surgical methods, also called as sterilization. See, surgical sterilization, that means by a small operation or something, this can be done. In vasectomy, a small part of a vas deferens is tied and cut, whereas in tubectomy, a small part of fallopian tube is tied and cut. We know that in male body, sperm, it gets mature in epididymis, okay, and then it goes to, or it travels through various ducts to the penis. So when it, in order to prevent this traveling of the sperm to the penis, what the doctors they do, they cut the vas deferens. The next duct present after the epididymis is the vas deferens. So doctor, they cut the vas deferens. Small part of a vas deferens is tied and cut. They actually cut it and then they tie the both the ends of the vas deferens wherever is the cut. So because of that, what will happen, there will be a prevention of the sperm. Sperm traveling will not be there. Sperm will not move from vas deferens, sorry, from epididymis to the vas deferens. It will mature in the epididymis and there only it will get killed, right? And then it will get absorbed in the body, right? So sperms are getting matured, sperms are getting developed, but they are not traveling. And uh, the ejaculatory fluid is actually not, sperm is a part of that ejaculatory fluid, but most of the fluid is coming out of the various glands that are present in the body. And in female, what they do is they cut the small part of a fallopian tube, they tie it, they cut it and they tie the both the ends. So the egg will get produced, or ovary will produce the egg, but after ovulation it will not go to the uterus. So there also, as the egg is not moving towards the uterus, it is not there in the uterus. So if a sperm is entering into the female body, because of the absence of egg, the sperm will die there itself. It will also not will be able to move till the uh, fallopian tube, or you can say till the ovary, right? So egg production will be there, but that will be of no use as the fallopian tube is cut. This blocks the gamete transport and prevent the pregnancy. So in male, vasectomy, that is uh, cutting of vas deferens, and in female, cutting of fallopian tube. Now, one more method is there for birth control, that is medical termination of pregnancy, that is MTP. Like after using temporary methods also, if a person or if a female is getting pregnant, and if it is an unwanted pregnancy, then termination processes are also available, and that is called as medical termination of pregnancy, that is MTP. And intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before a full term, that means before maturation of embryo into the infant. So that is called as medical termination of pregnancy, that is MTP, or induced abortion. It is a type of abortion. MTP is essential in cases of unwanted pregnancies or in defective development of a fetus. If a person or if a female or if a family does not want the baby, then in that case, during first trimester, that is during first 3 months, it can be aborted through MTP. Or if a fetus is showing any um, after first trimester, if in like you can say observations, if any defective development is there of a fetus, or it will not be able to survive in after parturition, or it will have any defective part of a body, or certain aberrations of the chromosomes, then in that case, that is also can be terminated. For this, like a reference of a doctor is enough for MTP, but for if you want, like you will have to take the two opinions, and then you can go for MTP. It is safe during the first trimester of pregnancy. The defective development of fetus is examined by the amniocentesis. This is the process we will see later on, by which the defective development of a fetus is examined. That means from the female body, or the space around the fetus, the fluid is present, right? Around the fetus fluid is present, so that fluid is taken out with the help of a syringe, and then that fluid is examined. And after that, if any defective any problem is found in chromosome numbers or any anything, then that can be terminated. What amniocentesis is? It is a process in which amniotic fluid containing amniotic fluid, the amnion which is present around the fetus. So there the fluid is present called as amniotic fluid. We have learned this also. It will contain, so this amniotic fluid will contain fetal cells, right? It will have the fetal cell, and it is collected using a hollow needle inserted into the uterus under ultrasound guidance. You can see over here a syringe is inserted into the amnion, into the womb of the mother, and from here the amniotic fluid is being taken in the syringe. Then that is centrifuged so that the cells will get settled at the bottom, and then they treat this, or you can say they observe it using certain chemicals. The chromosomes are studied to see the abnormalities in the developing fetus. Chromosomal abnormalities, like if there is addition or deletion of a chromosome number, or any defect of the chromosome is there, that is examined after this. But the dangerous trend is the misuse of amniocentesis to determine the sex of the unborn child, because the chromosomes are being studied. So observing the sex chromosome, doctors can analyze the sex of a baby also, whether it is a female or male. And this may lead, or this is leading to the female feticide. That is, if the child uh, or infant is female, then people generally kill that infant. So this was misused, this method was misused. Now also it is getting misused in certain parts of India, but now it is like determining the sex of a child is banned. Frequently, in the fetus is found to be a male, it is aborted, which is totally illegal. So the government of India has legalized MTP Act in 1971 with a strict condition to avoid its misuse. Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2017 under Section 3 of the MTP Act 1971 was enacted by Government of India. Some certain amendments were there in 2017. The intention of MTP Act is to reduce the incidence of illegal abortion and consequent maternal mortality. As per the provisions of MTP Act, only the consent of women whose pregnancy is being terminated is required. Women should be ready, a female should be ready for this termination. So her consent is very important. According to MTP Act, pregnancy may be terminated within first 12 weeks, like this, within first 12 weeks, that is in 3 months it can be terminated. More than 12 weeks but lesser than 20 weeks. It should not be done after 20th week. The registered medical practitioner's opinion is mandatory, stating the continuation of the pregnancy would involve a risk to the life of the pregnant woman and grave abnormal physical or mental health, or is substantial risk to the child. If you are going for like medical termination of pregnancy, then uh, there is a risk of life to the mother also, like abortion of baby is there, like, but with this, in this process, a female life is on the stake, it is also in risk. So if it is within the first 12 week, one opinion is required, but after 12th week, proper medical practitioner's opinion is required. That means maybe two doctors opinion is required after 12th week of pregnancy, because there can be a risk of the life of the pregnant woman, or there can be certain abnormalities to the child also, like child may undergo mental illness as well. Now let us see what are the sexually transmitted diseases, that is STDs. Diseases or infections which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called as sexually transmitted diseases, or venereal diseases, or reproductive tract infections. Like after um, sexual intercourse, if a person is having certain issues with the genital area, then that state, or that state will be called as sexually transmitted disease. A person will have STD. The major venereal disease are syphilis and gonorrhea. These two are the mostly found diseases. See, now whatever the diseases are found because of the sexual intercourse, or these are, these can be I mean, a person can get infected because of the bacteria, because of there, that can be a fungal infection also, that can be a bacterial infection also, or can be a viral infection also. Virus, bacteria, or fungi, anything can be a causative agent for these type of diseases. Like here, two diseases are shown. Their causative agent, incubation period is given, symptoms are given, which all are the symptoms for these syphilis and gonorrhea disease. Then what can be done in order to prevent these diseases? Like hygiene is very important, and a person should avoid a sex with the unknown partner or multi partners. Then what is the treatment available for the diseases also given. Along with that, there are other diseases also which can occur. These all are the in this. Then hepatitis B is also there, herpes is also there, then HIV or AIDS is also there. These are all the diseases caused by the wrong methods of sexual intercourse, or if a person is having a sex with the unknown person which has these diseases, or having a sex with the multi partners, that is also responsible for these diseases. Now, infertility. Infertility is defined as the inability to conceive naturally after 1 year of regular unprotected intercourse. If a person, if a couple is not able to conceive naturally, like after 1 year also, if they are not able to conceive, then that is called as, that can be defined as infertility. The cause of infertility could be physical, cognitive, diseases if a person is having any disease, immunological, or even physiological. These are the various causes for infertility. The common physical cause in female are polycystic ovarian syndrome, that is PCOD, where uh, cyst can be found. Like sometimes what happens that from the ovary, uh, in the process of ovulation, the follicle it bursts and the ovum get releases, but sometimes it does not burst. and it remains as it is there. So that forms a cyst afterward, which is called as polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOD. Hormonal imbalance, if it is there, if the level of hormones is decreased or increased, then that could be a cause. Endometriosis, in male, it is less. Endometriosis is the less sperm count, or if a penis size is very small, not able to ejaculate. So these are certain causes of infertility. Prior to 1978, infertile couple had two options. One was adoption and one was be childless. But after 1978, we had many, you can say, methods for having a child. Today, infertile couples may have many options to have a child, such as infertility drugs, medicine is available, test tube baby, this method is also available, artificial insemination, IUI, surrogate motherhood. Many options are available for the couples in order to have a child. The couple could be assisted to have a child or a children through certain special techniques commonly known as assisted reproductive technologies, that is ART. All these technologies, they comes under assisted reproductive technology, that is ART. Okay, so first, a method of ART, that is assisted reproductive technology, is IVF, that is in vitro fertilization. It is a process of fertilization where an egg is combined with the sperm outside the body in the test tube or a glass plate to form a zygote under stimulated conditions in the laboratory. Here what happens, that a sperm for a male and the egg from a female body is taken out, and in the lab, in vitro means in the lab outside the body, right? In the lab, either in the test tube or on in the glass plate petri dish, they try to combine the sperm and the egg together, which will form a zygote, and then this zygote or early embryo with up to 8 blastomere could be then transferred into the fallopian tube for further development. And then after the zygote formation, or you can say after the eighth stage, then it is inserted into the fallopian tube of the female. So that is IVF. Then the other method is there, that is zygote intrafallopian transport, that is ZIFT. It is an infertility treatment used when there is a blockage of the fallopian tube. Now, if a female is having a block in the fallopian tube, which will prevent the fertilization of the egg by the sperm, because of the blockage of the fallopian tube, there won't be a chance of fertilization. So, in this method, what they do, the egg is removed from the woman's ovary. Fertilization of the egg with the sperm is brought about outside the body under the sterile condition to form a zygote by the process called as in vitro fertilization. By this method only, they do the zygote formation, and then the zygote is then transferred to the fallopian tube for further development. Okay. See, these are the pictures showing the IVF method and the ZIFT method, that is ZIFT. Here, the sperms from the male has taken, then the eggs of the from the female body is taken. They are getting fertilized in a petri dish, and then blastula is getting implanted. It is introduced in the uterus, that is IVF. Here it is being introduced. In ZIFT, fertilized embryo or the zygote are transferred to the fallopian tube. Here you can see the syringe through this syringe kind of thing, or catheter. This is a catheter used through this. They implant the embryo in the fallopian tube. Next is the gift, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer. Transfer of an ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube of another female who can provide suitable environment for its fertilization and development. That means here the gamete, that is ovum, developed ovum of a female body, is then transferred to the other female. Okay, fallopian tube of the other female. The technique called gamete intrafallopian transport has been developed for cases in which only the entrance of the oviduct or the upper segment of the oviduct is blocked. That means if this part is blocked, for that cases it is being introduced. In this procedure, ova and the sperms are directly injected into the regions of the oviduct where the fertilization process or the blastocyst which enters the uterus via normal route. But the success rate is about 30% only. Here sperms and egg both are kept or both are placed in a fallopian tube for fertilization. Gametes in ZIFT we have seen, or in IVF we have seen zygote was transferred, but here gametes, that is egg and sperms, are only transferred into the fallopian tube or into the oviduct. Next is ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. It is an in vitro fertilization process in which the single sperm cell is injected directly into the cytoplasm of an ovum in the laboratory. Here again sperm and the egg is taken out of the female and male body, and then in the lab in vitro fertilization is done outside the body only. What they do, they directly insert the sperm into the center or in the cytoplasm of the egg cell, right? Like in IVF or in they just allow the sperms and egg into the this petri dish or in the test tube, and then naturally they um, fertilize. But here using a needle, they are directly injecting a sperm into the egg cell. This is something which can hold this egg cell, and then through a needle they are injecting a sperm. This is the sperm that you can see into the cytoplasm of the egg, right? So here the sperm has to naturally penetrate the egg, and then there will be the fertilization. One more method is there, that is artificial insemination, AI. In some infertility cases, the male partner is unable to inseminate the female due to the very low sperm count. In case a male's sperm count is very low, so if a sperm count is low, then what will happen, that in female body, whenever it will enter into the female body, then we have seen that only 200 can reach to the ovum, and out of that also only one can penetrate the ova. So if a sperm count is low, then there are less chances of moving or reaching the sperm to the egg. So in that cases, the problem can be solved by artificial insemination. In this technique, the sperms are collected from the male and artificially introduced into the cervix of the female. That means the sperms are taken out of the male body, and then these are introduced in the female body for the purpose of achieving a pregnancy through the vivo fertilization, that is inside the body. Here the pregnancy or the fertilization will take place in vivo conditions only, that is inside the body only. The only thing is that the sperms are being taken out of the male body. Here you can see sperm collection, then in lab they are processed, and then through a syringe it is being transferred into the female reproductive part, insemination is done, and then naturally it will fertilize. Next method is IUI, that is intrauterine insemination. In this technique, the process is somewhat like that of artificial insemination only. The only difference is that the sperm are introduced into the uterine cavity instead of cervix. That means directly the sperms are introduced into the uterus. In AI, it was introduced in the cervix, but here the sperms are introduced in the uterus only. Then there are sperm or semen banks also, where the stored sperm or semen is there. The sperm bank or a semen bank is place which collect, store and provide human sperms or semen. The semen is provided by healthy males called as sperm donor. The sperm are stored in sperm bank by cryopreservation method at a very low temperature, and then if a couple they want uh, a donor, or if they want a sperm, then they can opt for these, or they can go for these banks for the sperms. And one more method is there, that is adoption. Adoption is a legal process by which a couple or a single parent get rights, privileges and responsibilities that are associated to be a biological child for the upbringing of the adopted child. An adoptive parent should be medically fit and financially able to take care of adopted child. A person wishing to adopt a child must be at least 21-year old, but there is no legal upper age limit for adoption. Like before 21 year, before this age you cannot adopt, but after this age a person can adopt, and upper age limit is not given for adoption. So that was all about the reproductive health